So it's about 2 a.m. right now. My wife and I watched Daredevil today and did nothing else. We didn't even pause it once. Netflix kept checking if we were alive. We are, unless we died and went to comic book TV show heaven. Welcome to Binge Watchers, where we talk about the stories and characters we love and the shows they live in. My name is Ron, and let's talk about holy crap Marvel's Daredevil. Daredevil obviously is the long-awaited Netflix original that takes place in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and tells the story of Matt Murdock in his early career, both as a lawyer and as the man without fear. Since Marvel is moving away from origin stories, you don't have to spend 5 episodes just learning about how he became Daredevil, because odds are you probably know already. No, he starts out as a vigilante, which is great. So this show tells a story that you've seen before. You've seen it on Nolan's Batman films and you've seen it on Arrow. You can rearrange some of the background, change the title and the costume, and that's it. You have a different show about another superhero you know and love. So you've seen the story, but you've never seen it like this. The show starts out very strong. Even if you've never heard of Daredevil, it doesn't matter. The story moves at a good pace and you get just the amount of background you need from flashbacks. I didn't really like the childhood flashback scenes, but they were functional. Matt Murdock is a solid performance, and the fight scenes throughout the show are incredible. The moves are amazing, it's shot beautifully, and you can always tell what's going on. It's never shot way too up close with like a million cuts per move. It's often one long continuous shot, or what appears to be one long shot, and it's just great. And since Daredevil isn't on a network, the violence can get pretty violent and awesome. Foggy Nelson is the character you love. He is the audience. He asks the questions you would ask. His function is to represent you in the show and be funny, which he always is. He did a really great job. It's impossible to not love him. That's what he's there for, and he does it well. The best performance in the show by far is Vincent D'Onofrio's Wilson Fisk. He was 10 levels above anyone else in the show. One of the most interesting villains I've seen, and not a cartoon of a bad guy like bad guys tend to be. He was probably the deepest character in the show, and I was way more interested in him than I was in Daredevil. I mean, Matt Murdock, he's great, but you get his motivations, you know why he does what he does, and there's not a whole lot more to learn. Wilson Fisk, however, he has more aspects to his personality, and he is just presented so well that it makes him the most interesting character in the show. So I was glad we get to see a lot of him. Daredevil isn't so much a superhero show as it is a crime drama, and a good one, and one that deals with consequences of events that took place in the Avengers. And the references were done right. They were done like they should have been done in any other comic book adaptation. If you got it, great. It gives you more insight into the story. If not, no harm done. On Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you were kinda expected to watch Captain America the Winter Soldier, which I had mixed feelings about. Not about Winter Soldier, that was great, but about the fact that you were kinda expected to watch it to understand what's going on in the show. Daredevil isn't the kind of show with a lot of twists and turns. The plot is inevitably predictable, just like any other superhero story. So it's not about the story itself, it's about how they tell it. They do go through every trope and cliche in the book, and you can see most of them coming. It's all done very well, just don't expect to be surprised. You've already seen a version of each plot point somewhere else, but they do a great job here of telling the same familiar story in a new, immersive way. Some of the scenes, a lot of them actually, that don't directly move the plot along, tend to drag on for way too long after the scene has already made its point. And since the show is generally fast-paced, when it slows down like this, it really gets you reaching for your phone and thinking about that bathroom breaks, and kind of snaps you out of the experience. Especially because a lot of the times they go beyond story progression and character development to a point where they're just kind of talking about stuff. And then even the show has a lot more to offer. You're kind of thinking, I have not seen Daredevil hit anyone in the head for way too long. When they do focus on character development, it's great. The show feels like a 13-hour movie. I watched it all in one sitting, and I had no idea which episode I was on at any given time. It all felt like one big thing, which is awesome. And the general fast pace of the show makes the time just fly. It did not feel like 13 straight hours. Oh my god, 13? You do get some scenes that are pure bait for a second season, or something that is kind of ridiculous and kind of feels out of place in this very harsh, sort of realistic world, there is an inevitable comparison to be made to Arrow, as it is a very similar story, downright to the references to My City. But Arrow and Daredevil serve very different purposes. I don't watch Arrow for incredible acting or compelling storytelling. I watch it because it's fun, and I like the crazy storylines and comic book references. With Daredevil, you get a more grim, contained story, more carefully told, but with good enough pacing to make it fun and not a heavy watch that kinda drains you. I think it's a good counterpart to Arrow. Well, maybe counterpart isn't the right word, but it does have elements that Arrow could have had if it wasn't on a network. But then again, if Arrow wasn't on a network, it wouldn't have been the 22 episode crazy roller coaster ride it is. So I feel there's a good balance between these two shows, and they're gonna share a lot of fans. Bottom line, should you watch it? Definitely watch it. I mean, if you're a fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe or comics in general, you cannot pass on this show. But even if you're not, it might be a familiar, predictable story, but it is very well told, even if it does suffer some pacing issues here and there. It's my favorite comic book show so far. It has a great balance of gritty and fun. Daredevil has been done justice, and we can all finally get over that. There are plenty more things that I liked and didn't like about this show, but I would be entering the domain of spoilers by talking about them, and I want to keep my reviews spoiler free. Maybe I'll do a spoiler talk episode. So have you watched or are you watching Daredevil? I would really love to know what you think. Let's have that discussion in the comments. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, it helps out a lot. And we can always talk some more on Twitter or Facebook, you have links to those below. And if you're finding binge watchers for the first time, welcome! We're talking about TV every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, with news, stories, reviews, all kind of great stuff, all for you fellow TV lovers and binge watchers. So you can go ahead and click that big subscribe button to join in on the fun, or you can check out any of the other videos on the channel. In any case, keep binging, and I'll see you next time.